President Barack Obama says now is the time for common sense immigration reform to settle the status of the 11 million people currently working and living illegally in the United States. Speaking in Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Obama unveiled his goals for a new comprehensive law, including smarter and stronger border enforcement, creating a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and improving a legal immigration system to attract the world's best and brightest to the United States. Under a bipartisan plan now before Congress, illegal immigrants would register with the government, pass background checks, pay any fines and taxes they owe to earn probationary status that would allow them to stay in the U.S. legally. Mr. Obama says immigration reform is within our grasp, but he acknowledges it will spark an intense debate.
You know, there are few things that are more important to us as a society than who gets to come here and call our country home. Who gets the privilege of becoming a citizen of the United States of America? That's a big deal. When we talk about that in the abstract, it's easy sometimes for the discussion to take on a feeling of us versus them. And when that happens, a lot of folks forget that most of us used to be them. We forget that.
The plan would include exemptions for children who entered the U.S. with their parents and were educated here, and for agricultural workers who play a role in maintaining America's food supply.
Now, how would immigration reform mean, or what would it mean to Africans? Joining us now is Loide Rosa Jorge, and she's an attorney specializing in U.S. immigration and nationality law. Welcome so much to Focus, Loide. You know, and I'm sure you've heard this all the time, that the face of an illegal immigrant, it is not necessarily African, it's Hispanic or Latina, but there are a lot of Africans who fall into this category, isn't it?
Indeed, and that number is not a captured number for various reasons, which include that census data does not disaggregate Africans from African Americans and other African diasporas, such as from the Caribbean. So we don't have the raw figures that would enable us to have a more visible face when it comes to the immigration discussion. However, we are here. Not only are we here, but we are here in growing numbers. And although we share a lot of the same stories as our Latino brothers and sisters, we do have a unique voice and a unique experience when it comes to U.S. immigration law.
Now, this is a big move. If you were to simplify this to an African immigrant who is here, who has been undocumented for years, what is it they need to know about this process?
Well, this process, to be sure, has not been specifically outlined. What we have been provided are those 4 policy goals of the Obama administration, which include, as you discussed, continuing strengthening the border, cracking down on employers who hire undocumented workers, as well as earned citizenship and a streamlined immigration process. Now, how does that impact the African immigrant in specific? A lot of times people will say, well, since the face of immigration on the news and in the media is only the Latino immigrant, maybe these laws are just for them. However, that could not be further from the truth. What these laws will do is capture all immigrant populations. So these are not laws, or proposed laws, I should say, or proposed legislation that will specifically cater to the Latino population base.
Now, Loide, what does somebody who is in this very precarious situation, a scary position, supposed to know? I mean, also there's that element of fear. Like, if I declare myself to be illegal, what would happen to me? Is there any kind of loophole that they should be concerned about that could maybe, instead of putting them on the path to citizenship, actually get them deported?
Well, one of the things you have to remember is we've heard the term amnesty being thrown around. So there's this perception that perhaps there will be this carte blanche open door. If you've been here, all you have to do is fill out a paper and let them know that you're here, and then now you're going to be legal. It's not going to be like that. There's going to be, the term that is being used is earned citizenship. You have to prove several things, one of which includes that you do not have a criminal past. So if you are sitting and wondering how should I think in the future about how this may or may not impact me. There are certain things that you'd want to keep in mind. First, including if you have had any crosses with the criminal legal system in the U.S. Undoubtedly, individuals who have will face obstacles, if not be barred from being able to take advantage of any of the future proposed legislation. Now, of course, there are specifics. Maybe there are misdemeanors that will make a difference versus a federal offense. Or
but very quickly, I just wanted to know, is there a case where a parent could be ineligible but a child is eligible?
Well, I would refrain from getting really specific about how this will look on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have you back, hopefully, as this process unfolds, because it's going to be a long journey into
Indeed.
legalizing those who are out of status.
Definitely.
And
a
that's
long process.
Loide Jorge joining us here on In Focus, an immigration attorney
Exactly.
here in Washington.
And we want to know what you think about In Focus and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is VOA In Focus. And you can check our Africa headlines 24/7 at voaafrica.com.